Have you ever experienced a moment in your life when everything that could go wrong is going wrong? And it is a moment where you are literally in tears and telling God that you can't handle anything else. You are praying to be released from the strongest warriors list. You are praying for him to carry you, to hold you, to remove the load because you don't feel like you can take anymore. And while you are going through this moment where you feel like you are on the verge of collapse, you keep hearing the stories over and over again that remind you that he doesn't give you more than you can bear, that you gotta push through, put on your best dress, put on your best face, and just step out into the world. And internally, you are battling because you feel like there is no more you can do. I think that we've all experienced those moments. And in those moments, we've had people that we can lean on, and a lot of times we don't. And in this episode of Big Profit Energy, I want to tell you about one of those moments in my life, what I did to fix it, and how you can adopt this same process. So anytime you are in the valley and wondering how you are going to climb the Mount Everest moment in your life, you remember that you have a system to get you to the top. I'll be the first person to admit that I have had moments in my life where everything that could go wrong will go wrong. And when I've experienced those moments, there were times when I allowed it to get so bad that all I could do was cry out and pray for the help that I needed. And it was after one of those times about 5 or 6 years ago where I really felt like I was in a valley of despair and everything I wanted was at the top of the mountain and I had no idea how to get there. I had a successful business, but I was miserable operating in it. I felt isolated from my family and friends, and my mother was giving me words of encouragement. And it was in one of those conversations that my mom said for me to, like, come visit some family and spend some time with them in Virginia. Now, my mom lived in Brooklyn, but she was in Virginia staying at my sister's house. And she was just like, come down, visit. Like, I want to see you. I want to put eyes on you. She encouraged me. She loved me. And I decided to take my mom up on that. And it was when I was in Virginia and I actually started to feel more like myself that I realized what was happening. I was so focused on business that I started to neglect the other areas of my life. And I was like, no, I don't want just a successful business. I want a fulfilled life. I want an amazing life. And I did something that forever changed not only how I showed up, it changed how I manifest, It changed how I live my life. And it came back to something that I had heard many years earlier from one of my first coaches. And it was, if you live well, you should do well. And if you do well, you'll live well. And when I first heard that quote, for me, it was all about make as much money as possible in the business. When I revisited it years later, I realized no, it was what do I want life to look like? And that's when a lot of things about manifesting and mindset really started to make sense. And I always look at it like a battery. And the best way I can describe it is like a smoke detector system. If you live in a home where you have hardwired smoke detectors, you know that if one of your smoke detector batteries start to fail, it gives you that annoying beep. I can't live with that sound, but I know some people who do, right? And if for whatever reason you don't change the battery, you'll notice that it'll start to beep more frequently, but in different areas of your home, because now your system is trying to make up for the one battery that is failing. It's one of the reasons why they tell you when you have a hardwired system that you should change all of your batteries at the same time. And you have to look at your life like this as well, especially for women. As women, we have so many roles that we play, not just in our lives, but because how our lives affect others. And we have to show up, or we try to show up as fully as possible in all those roles. Those roles are can be daughter, sister, mother, wife, cousin, auntie, employee, business owner, friend, the smart one, the strong one. You get it. Like, it's so many roles that we play. So, one of the things that you have to do in order to really manifest and have this fulfilled life and actually really be able to bring your wildest dreams into reality is that you have to account for all of the areas in your life. And we do that with something that I call the fulfillment factor method. It's something that I embodied and was using. And when I started doing this work more formally, I decided to start sharing it with clients. And one of the things that my clients realized is that it was giving them the opportunity to really have balance between work and life, the type of balance where they felt like they could really enjoy the fruits of their labor. And when they started having a more fulfilled life, they realized that manifesting their goals became a whole lot easier. The other thing that tends to happen, especially if you are new to manifesting or you are just trying to embody the principles of manifesting and the universal laws through the surface, is that you focus on the physical things that you want to manifest. But when you start looking at the physical things you want to manifest and you start realizing that it's really attached to these other areas of life that you want to serve in really well, you'll start manifesting the experiences and the emotions that you want, therefore allowing you to attract the physical manifestations a whole lot easier. So, in this episode of Big Profit Energy, I'm going to walk you through the fulfillment method, and I'm going to show you how to make sure that not only you have work-life balance, that you can truly live a life of your wildest dreams, bringing those dreams into your reality. And this is just one part of the process. This is the first step, that foundational piece that I really want you to do. And when you get clear here, everything else really becomes so much more easier. So there it was, my moment of truth, the moment where everything felt like it was crumbling, but in reality, it was really God aligning me to something greater. It was in that valley of despair, feeling like everything I wanted was atop of this unreachable mountain, that I had the breakthrough. And trust me, it wasn't just any breakthrough. We often focus solely on one aspect of our lives. It could be business, family, health, you name it. It's the thing that is most trouble at the time that we are going to put our focus on because we feel like it's an immediate need. It's the thing that's showing the most symptoms, and we have to treat the symptoms. But what I realized and what I'm about to share with you is the power of holistic balance. The fulfillment factor method isn't just a tool, it is a lifeline. It's about thriving in all areas: faith, fun, fitness, family, friendship, finance, and forward movement. It's about not just climbing that mountain, but enjoying the journey up and celebrating at the peak. Climbing a mountain is not easy, it is hard, but it also can be exhilarating and fun because you know that you have the energy to power through and you are supported on your journey. Whether that's a solo trip and you just have your rope and your rock climbing equipment, or maybe you are in a group and they are encouraging you, letting you know what's ahead, pushing you up as you get stuck in a spot. That's going to look different for each and every one of us, and it's going to look different depending on what we have access to. So, as we step into the juiciness and the meat of this episode, we're going to break down each of these areas. I'm going to walk you through how to apply the fulfillment factor method in your life step by step. Listen, it's time to shift from feeling overwhelmed in the valley to embracing a fulfilled life at the top of the mountain. I want you to get ready to transform, to balance, and manifest not just in business, but in every slice of life. I hope that you are with me. I hope that you are ready. If you don't have a notebook and pen around, you may want to grab one, or you can go ahead and just power through this episode. But I'm definitely going to encourage you to revisit it so that way you can truly embody what the fulfillment factor method is and start to use it to set yourself up for success. Now, before we jump into the steps of the fulfillment factor method, I do want to let you know that it is a script writing method. And what that means is that as I'm walking through the steps, I am really going to be channeling what it is you need to journal about in each area so that way you can have a clear vision of how you want your life to look. So I am going to be sharing some journal prompts for each of these methods, and I'll be sure to create a post over on our website so that way you can revisit the episode and see those journal prompts. So that way, if you need help later or you want to remember, you can go ahead and do this work. All right, so let's dive into the heart of the fulfillment factor method. We're going to break down each step, giving you the keys to unlock a life of true success and happiness. First up is faith. This isn't just about religion or spirituality. It's about believing in something greater, whether that's a higher power, the universe, or the power within yourself. Faith is what keeps you anchored during storms and fuels your drive towards success. It's about trusting the process. Even when the outcome isn't clear, remembering faith isn't just believing that you can, it's knowing that you will. When you step into your faith and you activate your faith like it is your non-negotiable that this will happen, you begin to explore what it really means to surrender to the processes and step into co-creation because you know that your higher power is the higher power of miracles happening. You know that your God is the God of abundance. You know that prosperity is yours. You know that happiness is yours. You know that regardless of what challenges you face, how deep in the valley of despair that you are, there is a way out. And when you are surrendering to those challenges and you are using your power to get through them and find out how you can use this to do what I call failing forward, you start to realize that, wait, there is something that I'm missing in this process. There is something that I am not in alignment in. And once I can come into alignment and I can find the success block, this thing that's keeping me from believing that all of this is possible, I can get to the other side. The other thing that we do have to remember is that when we are going through these challenges, in those moments, they feel hard. We go into a place of being distraught. Like, I can't take this. I've had those moments as well. And then when you get to the other side, you go, that was the success block. That's the lesson. And those lessons become a part of your testimony. When you are using the fulfillment factor, what you are actually doing is you are asking yourself, how do I want to grow a deeper relationship with God over the next year? What do I want that relationship to look like? What do I want to learn about God? What do I want to learn about my faith? How can I become even more trusting and more in love with that relationship? And how can I embody more of his principles and live in my life purpose and experience abundance? What do I want that to look like? And when I get to the end of the year, how will I be able to look back and be like, this is what I did to grow my relationship with God? And this is why I feel closer to him more now than I ever did before. Next, we're going to have fun. Now, don't underestimate this one. Fun is essential. It's your soul's way of smiling, whether it's a dance break in your living room or a weekend getaway. Infusing fun into your daily life is crucial. It recharges you, keeps you grounded, and guess what? It also boosts your creativity and productivity. So you want to make sure that you add play to what it is you are doing. Not just work hard, but play hard too. So when you're thinking about the fun that you want to experience over the next year, you're asking yourself, what fun do I want to have? And you are really just writing about, what does that look like? If I wanted to look back and say, I had an amazing year and I had fun doing it, how do you want that fun to look? And this isn't fun that you're doing with other people. This is fun just for yourself. So when I think about fun for me, I know that time freedom is one of my core values. And because time freedom is one of my core values, I like being able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and have the energy to do it. And there was a moment where fun for me was being able to make sure I watched Murder She Wrote and Columbo and Matlock. Sitting around watching old school detective shows is fun for me. Then there was a time where my fun was like, I want to make sure I take one quarterly international trip where I can just recharge, sit on the balcony in my suite, watch the ocean, drink coffee, tea, champagne, whatever I wanted to put my lips on. That's what I was able to do. And when I look back, I could be like, I had fun this year doing it. Now, the next one is fitness. And no, I'm not just talking about hitting the gym. Okay. Remember, I'm a big girl. So for a long time, when I thought of fitness, fitness was really just about being smaller. And one of the things that I had to realize is that fitness, especially when it comes to the fulfillment factor, is our overall well being, our physical, mental, and emotional health. This is about taking care of yourself on all levels, eating right, exercise, meditate, whatever it is that keeps you your best. Because a healthy entrepreneur is a successful entrepreneur. When it comes to fitness, what you're asking yourself is, what goals do I want to meet when it comes to my health and wellness? And the reason why you're asking yourself this is because you want to look back and say, I approved my health and wellness, and this is how I was able to do it. Then you're going to be moving on to family and friendship. Now, these are two separate categories. You have family and then you have friendship. These relationships are your backbone, your support system. It's so important to nurture these connections. They're not just there for the highs, but also for the lows. So you want to make time for your loved ones. When you are thinking about family and friendship, this is where you're coming at it from a couple of different ways. So the first thing you want to be able to ask yourself is, what wishes do you have for your relationships? How do you want your relationship with your family to grow? And how do you want your relationship with your friends to grow? Then the second thing you are asking yourself is, how are you planning to show up in these relationships, and what are you looking for in return? And once you kind of know that, then you're asking yourself, what boundaries do I need to create? And how am I communicating these boundaries? One of the things you don't want to do is create this vision of what you expect in return in your family and friend relationships and not communicate them. Because if you don't communicate them, what's going to happen is you're going to get to the end of the year and you're going to feel like you put out all of this effort and it wasn't returned. So making sure you can communicate your desires and be open to listening to what they need as well. You can't just, well, you can have it all, right? Right? But these relationships are about balance. They are about give and take. So when you are communicating like, hey, this is some of the plans I want to have for the year, be open to listening to what these people expect as well. Because remember, they are relationships and relationships can't be one-sided in either direction. One of the reasons why I also break this out into two categories rather than just saying relationships, because the relationship you have with your family and the relationship you have with friends may look a little different. Also, I remember listening to another business coach, and she talked about how a couple of years ago she actually wrote out her friendship circle. It didn't exist at the time, but she knew she wanted to have an amazing group of women and develop a real deep connection with them. So she wrote out like what type of friends she wanted, how she wanted to be a friend, and then in less than a year, she had manifested her friendship circle. So just remember that success means little without people to share it with. We don't want to have these situations where we're like, it's us and nobody else. You definitely want to have a community and not just the people on the internet who you can really build and grow with. Next, we talk about finance. This is all about your relationship with money. It's time to shift from that mindset of scarcity into one of abundance. And I know many of you may be listening to this and you may feel like you don't really have a self-limiting money story. You kind of feel like you did all of that work. But one of the things I'm going to let you know is new level, same devil. There's always going to be subconscious success blocks that can keep you out of your next level. So being able to revisit the money story and ask yourself, how do I want to grow my relationship with money over the next year? How do I want to elevate my money story over the next year is going to be a part of your fulfillment factor. Also know that this isn't just where you are sharing goals. We're actually do that in forward. This is really about the energetic of money. So when I'm thinking about the energetic of money, I'm just not talking about the woo of it, right? I'm talking about like, how are you thinking about money? How are you talking about money? How are you using money to create wealth, to break patterns? Also, what are you consuming on the internet that can keep you out of vibrational alignment with money? So one of the things that I had to do was clean up my news feed. As much as I love some people that I even knew in real life, I had to unfollow them because all they were talking about were the government and the government's responsibility to people, talking about billionaires and why they didn't need money. Like it was just destroying my energetic connection with money. One of the things I believe, now this is my belief, I'm not saying all of you have to believe it. This is my belief. My belief is this. I don't care who's sitting in the White House. I'm still going to build a relationship with money and I'm going to have wealth. I don't care who's a billionaire and what other people's thoughts are about money because I do believe that I can be a billionaire and not take advantage of people. That is my belief, right? Because if I'm not slimy, sleazy, and all of those things now, why would I be slimy and sleazy once I'm a billionaire, right? If I believe in progressive employment now, if believe in paying people more than a living wage now, why am I going to become a billionaire and all of a sudden absorb those traits? That's not how I look at my future. The more good people who have money, the more people who can change the world. Money in the hands of good people is what it takes to change, and we need money to create change. That's my belief. Your belief may be different, and that's absolutely okay. But what I was consuming on the internet was keeping me out of vibrational alignment with money, because as we are scrolling, we are subconsciously programming our mind with this information, even if we don't believe it. And law of attraction is all about attracting what you want. And when you are consuming things, you are still taking in thoughts, even if you don't believe them. So you could be programming yourself to incorporate things into your being that is actually counteracting what you really want to manifest. And finally, we have forward. Forward is about forward movement. This is the area where you're going to talk about your goals, your dreams, your future. It's about setting clear, actionable plans for your personal and business growth. This is where you are asking yourself, what have I done to move my life and business forward? This is where you're going to talk about the programs, the marketing, the money goals, right? This is where you may say, hey, I want to save a deposit for the house. I want to buy a new car. A lot of those physical manifestations, that's what's going to go in this section. I specifically left this last because, again, this is about having that holistic balance. So making sure that you have the other areas in place is what's going to bring your physical manifestations forward into your lived experience. So that's it. That's the fulfillment factor in all its glory. Like I said, it's more than just business. It's about creating a life that's rich in every aspect. I want you to remember that balance is key, and you can have balance. When you nurture all of these areas, you're not just living, you are thriving. And I want you to be able to put it into action, because when you do that, you will literally see your life transform. Even though you are script writing about the things that you want to accomplish, having that clear vision is what sets you up for success. And now that we're here, let me talk a little bit about script writing and what I want you to do with this. When you are script writing, you are writing in the present as if it's already happened, as if it's already here. So when I say things like, what wishes did you have for your relationships? You're not saying, I want to build a relationship. You are saying, I built an amazing relationship with my family. I talk to them daily. I talk to them weekly. We went on a family vacation. You're writing about it as if it's happening, as if it has happened, right? And you're talking about it again from that year standpoint when you're going from the fulfillment factor. Here's something that's really amazing about this. Every time I use this method, I always realize that I manifest the things that I talked about in the fulfillment factor way before the year is out. And it's one of the reasons why I talk a lot about 90-day manifestation cycles. And part of a 90-day manifestation cycle is revisiting how you wrote out your vision for the year. So that way you can start to check the boxes on what's already happened. Because every time you check a box on what's already happened, you can now manifest it from a bigger vision. That's how we get to those bigger, bolder goals, because as we check the box, the goal gets bigger. It gets bolder because now you have that physical proof that, like, wait, this is what I spoke into existence over my life. And it affirms to you that anything is possible. It keeps affirming your faith because you're like, this is what I asked for and this is what he delivered. Now that I've told you all about the fulfillment factor method and how to set up your foundation for a monument of success, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to incorporate it into your life. The fulfillment factor isn't something you just go in, write about, and you forget. No, this is something that you are going to revisit almost daily, especially for the first few weeks after you have written it, because you want to start to incorporate it into your daily life. So I do that through my morning routine. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is set my intention for the day and give gratitude for opening my eyes, for movement in my body, all of those things, right? I'm going to, shower, do my face routine, make me a cup of coffee. I'm going to do my prayer routine. When I finish all of that, because that's faith, I then make sure that I do some type of movement. Usually for me, it's stretching, which is my fitness, right? Also, by incorporating my faith, I can go into my spiritual and emotional fitness as well, because I do things like self hypnosis, emotional freedom techniques, like I am setting out my affirmations for the day. So, one of the things that I do is every 90 days, when I revisit my fulfillment factor and my big profit energy success plan, I write out 90 affirmations every quarter. And I just think about what is my affirmation of the day, and that affirmation becomes the thing I revisit during the day very sporadically, and I use the 369 formula. So that's 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times in the evening. I use the 369 formula because I want to make sure I stay in vibrational success. It's not just saying the affirmation 3, 6, and 9 times a day and forgetting it. It's about how am I shifting into a frequency that allows me to stay a vibrational match for the things that I am desiring. So let's say one of your goals for the next 90 days is to have a consistent flow of clients. So one of your affirmations that you write out may be, I am thankful and blessed for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. So you're going to say that 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times in the evening. You set your intention for the day that is the vibrational match that you want to be. As you are moving through the day, what'll happen is you never know where life is going to take you. You never know what's going to come up. When those thoughts start coming up, the first thing I do is go cancel, cancel, cancel. Because I can't stay in a vibrational match for the things I don't want. I have to stay a vibrational match for the things that I do want. So as soon as those thoughts start creeping in, cancel, 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 cancel. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I am grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. I'm grateful and thankful for the consistent flow of clients that come into my business daily. Okay, wait, I'm getting carried away because I actually got into vibration with it. If you noticed, as I started saying it, my energy started going up, and it replaces the thoughts that I want to cancel. When you set your intention for the day, you are staying in a space of not just gratitude, but you are really connecting with your faith and your higher power. Now, that it factor, whether it's God, whether it's universe, whether it's higher power, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in, that it factor is the thing that I mean when I say in co-creation with. Going into co-creation with God is not about saying that you are equal to him. We are not. We are not even going to set ourselves up to believe that we are equal to him. Going into co-creation means I am here to build this relationship, and I am willing to do my part in my plan for success. There is a master script that he has written over our lives, and I have human will. And my human will says, now that I have access to this master script, I want to stay in vibrational alignment, and I am willing to do my part. Co-creation is you doing your part, your human will, to stay into alignment with the purpose he is calling you into, your human will to do the action and to do the work. One of the other things that you have to remember is taking inspired action. So at the end of my intention setting, I think to myself, I used to say it out loud. I used to write it out, but now I kind of just think it, and it becomes, now I don't even have to think it because it's subconscious thought. Who do I need to be in my business today? And who do I need to serve today? Once I have already set that intention, I go about my day. I do not force what I am here to do unless it's something that I have a deadline or a meeting or something. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about what is the obedience that you have to follow so that way you can bring your wildest dreams into your lived reality. When I start getting ideas and they are a match for what it is that I am doing, I literally go, oh, let me go take care of that. I actually have notebooks all around my house. I keep my voice note app open on my phone because there are moments when I am moving out the day and I literally can see myself recording on a stage, having a conversation. And I'm like, damn, that's good content. Let me go write it down. Let me go record it. That is inspired action. When I am in vibrational alignment, creating content is the most easiest thing I can ever do. I know what to say, I know how to say it, and then once it's already recorded, when I get the nudge like, hey, did you ever post that video? I get up and I go do it. And being in that space has made things become easier for me. Now, you may be wondering, how do you know which inspired action is the one you should be taking? When you create your big profit energy success plan, part of that is going through my manifestation process. And one of the things I teach people is a lot of times you are trying to force the actions, or you want to have a step-by-step plan and a strategy on how to get things done. And you do that because that's how you've been conditioned to think. That is you operating in your temporary self. When you are operating in your true self, a part of the manifestation process is saying, this already exists, it already happens. What are 3 things I can do to accelerate this process? What are the 3 immediate things I can do to accelerate this process? Once you know what those 3 things are, any inspired action you take needs to be a benefit of the 3 things that you committed to. You may be like, damn, Kim, I never thought about it like that. Well, that's my job here for you. That's why I am your breakthrough coach, because I am here to guide you on how to take things that seem mystical out of this realm and bring it into your lived experience and give you instructions that are simple and make sense for the life you are living. Because the truth of the matter is, as you start to remove the temporary self and step into your true self, that is how you get to your elevated and higher self. Doing this makes it super easy to live a fulfilled life. The fulfillment factor method is just a plan to help you get there. It's one of the reasons why I created it the way that I did, because it's not me pushing my goals over your life on you. It's you getting real clear on what is the vision that I've been given, because each and every one of you have been given a vision on what's possible for your life. That thing didn't come to you out of nowhere. You didn't get that dream because it's not possible. You got that dream because God wanted to show you that He created a master script over your life. And if you just are willing to surrender and build your relationship with Him, you can now take any action you need and step into co-creation for your human will to be developed and stay the path that leads to your success, that leads to your prosperity, that leads to your abundance, that leads to your wealth. As always, I want to remind you that you got this. So let's end on our mantra. Just pick it up and say it with me. I got this. 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 Yeah. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Big Profit Energy. I want you to remember, your power and success are in your hands. Keep channeling your main character energy, and don't forget to manifest your dreams into reality. Until next time, stay empowered, stay inspired, and keep igniting that big profit energy. Be sure to hit subscribe for more, and let's keep this energy flowing. I'll see you on the next episode of Big Profit Energy.